In this video, I'll be breaking down the history of the elite squad troopers from their early beginnings in the burgeoning empire to their service as time goes on, and how the role expands to hint at future iterations of specialized units, such as Death Troopers and Purge Troopers. If there are any further details added in the future about this class of soldier, be it a new show, a novel, a comic, whatever it may be, I'll make a follow-up video on this should the details be expansive enough. If you enjoy, please consider leaving a like, leave a comment, or subscribe, as well as checking out my other Star Wars discussions. When CT-9904 has his inhibitor chip effects amplified, making him supremely loyal to the Galactic Empire, he remains on Kamino under the orders of Admiral Tarkin. With the arrival of Vice Admiral Rampart, the same Rampart responsible for the introduction of the chain codes and the brains behind Project Warmantle, he brings along with him the first recruited soldiers the Empire would ever see. And these four individuals would become the Empire's first elite squad, led by Crosshair as their commander. Despite Kamino Prime Minister Lamasu's insistence that no recruited body would be able to match the skill level and effectiveness of the clones, Rampart refutes that, believing that those skills can be taught. The four recruits, their service numbers being ES-01, 02, 03, and 04, are examined in the medical bay. ES-01 claims that serving the Empire will allow him to live the life he wants, something the Republic never provided. This is a sentiment that will be echoed way beyond just these four, as more and more recruited soldiers will be brought into the Empire via Warmantle. I'm unsure if these four recruits were former Republic fighters or were just civilians looking to break into the new military, but either way it's interesting how they view this position. ES-04 seems unsure why there's a point with the war over. But as Rampart mentions, it's the loyalty these soldiers provide that is the most interesting aspect of this new initiative. Tarkin wants to see the skills of the elite squad in action, so he has them dispatched to Onderon to finish the mission Clone Force 99 never did, eradicating Saw Gerrera's insurgent fighters. The squad make for Onderon with some early tension building between ES-01 and Crosshair. Side note, I'm just going to call them by their single-digit numbers from here on out. For reference, this is 1, don't worry, he doesn't last very long. This is 2 with the modified DC-15 rifle, this is 3 with the modified DC-15 carbine, and this is 4 with the flamethrower. All good? Alright, carrying on. One questions why a clone is put in charge of this squad and hints at trying to usurp Crosshair as leader. The squad make their way into the camp, triggering one of the sensors. I do wish we saw this and maybe Crosshair would chastise them for their sloppy mistake. But either way, they engage the fighters, eliminating all but one who is trying to escort a group of displaced civilians. Crosshair demands Gerrera's location, but the fighter refuses, which Crosshair executes her. He then questions the civilians who know nothing, and Crosshair readies to execute them as well. To which one is very much against this. He expresses that they are simply civilians and thinks they should be brought in for questioning. One speaks for the rest of the group when he tells Crosshair they won't be following that order, then telling the team to ignore the clone, to which Crosshair executes one for disobeying orders, then has the squad terminate the civilians. They return to Kamino with Tarkin noting how they are a man down. Crosshair informs them of Gerrera's departure and the squad is dismissed. They retire to the former barracks of Clone Force 99 with CT-9904 contemplating. The next time we see the elite squad is after the Scrapper Guild reports activity on a decommissioned Jedi cruiser on Bracca. Crosshair reports this to Admiral Rampart, revealing it is Clone Force 99 who triggered the disturbance. Rampart sends out the squad with orders to kill the rogue clones should they find them, which Lamasu expresses displeasure as. The team arrive on Bracca and 3 is unable to get any readings from the ship, potentially because of atmospheric interference. But Crosshair knows this is the handiwork of tech jamming their signals. They move in with the division of clones, scouring the ship. Crosshair knew the batch would monitor their comm channels, so he intentionally ordered his troops to the hangar, diverting the batch to exactly where he wanted. Clone Force 99 are cut off in the artillery deck, and Omega tries to explain to Crosshair the situation of the inhibitor chips in all clones. But Crosshair ignores her and orders the squad to aim for her. Tech and Echo are able to trigger the cannons, causing the deck to collapse. The batch escape with Wrecker tossing a torpedo at 4. Crosshair and the others regain themselves and orders 4 to the bridge to turn on the ion engine. Crosshair keeps the batch pinned inside the engine port, waiting for the engine to turn on and incinerate the team. But the batch plant explosives all around the interior, causing the engine to fall, leading to Crosshair suffering intense burns. He contacts 4 to turn the engine off, and she does, but not after Crosshair is in bad shape. The elite squad rendezvous with their injured commander, and Crosshair is patched up, making him look like that dude in SpongeBob who was in a really bad way. The batch managed to narrowly escape, minus Omega, who had been taken by Cad Bane, and Crosshair pursues them aboard one of the attack shuttles. But the rogue clones are able to jump to hyperspace, much to Crosshair's displeasure. It's unclear how much time passes from here in the next appearance of the Elite Squad, but check out my timeline videos where I theorize on the passage of time in this show. I believe the Ryloth arc takes place several months later, where Crosshair is healed to the point where he can be in action again along with the squad. On Ryloth, Admiral Rampart has had a Dunium mine constructed on the Twi'lek homeworld, which he was escorted and protected by Crosshair and the squad, who were keeping eyes on Gobi Glee for possible trouble. Rampart has Crosshair track Gobi, as the Elite Squad are with Rampart, who speaks with Cham and Eleni at the refinery. Crosshair shoots a tracker on Gobi's ship, which Hera Syndulla is also on board. Once they return with contraband weapons courtesy of Clone Force 99, Crosshair shoots one of the engines, and the Elite Squad arrive on the scene to detain the Twi'leks, and this is all a part of Rampart's scheme to lure out Cham and frame him as an insurgent. The plan succeeds when Cham stops the Imperial convoy to free his daughter, and Crosshair snipes Ta from afar, painting Cham as the shooter. The Elite Squad once again arrive to capture the framed insurgents, but Hera manages to escape aboard a speeder. Rampart has the Elite Squad hunt for the Syndulla, with the team going to her home, only to find nothing. 3 remarks about the possibility of her fleeing the planet, but Crosshair knows she wouldn't leave without her parents, held captive in the capital. The squad returns to Lesu, and Clone Force 99 scout out the capital to find any way inside to free Cham and Eleni. A probe droid spots the team, and Hunter takes it out, but too little too late, as its feed makes its way to 2's datapad, which she shows Crosshair, and I absolutely love this moment. Crosshair goes to Rampart's office and shows him the footage, but Rampart ignorantly boasts the number of troopers they have. But Crosshair knows the capabilities of his former squad, to which Rampart questions 9904's own abilities at his lack of results, threatening him with being replaced, implying it will be Hauser that does so. The team make a diversionary attack on the refinery as Hera and Omega sneak aboard a shuttle to power off the turrets, allowing the Marauder to fly in and deal some damage. Rampart goes to take care of the situation himself, along with the vast majority of the capital's guards. As Crosshair and the squad move toward a shuttle, Crosshair realizes the refinery is not the target. 4 then mockingly asks why they are attacking it, but Crosshair reassigns the team to protect the door, with him assuming a sniper position. Captain Hauser intervenes, alerting the escaping prisoners and their rescuers of the trap. 2 asks if they should proceed inward, but Crosshair thinks they will be the ones to proceed right into the Elite Squad's hands. However, everyone is surprised to see Hauser be the sole person to emerge, who tries to break through to his inhibitor chip-affected brothers, getting a handful of them to drop their weapons. Crosshair orders the squad to arrest the traitors, and they do so, taking Hauser and his fellow turncoats away, right as the shuttle the enemy escapes with takes off. After the escape, Rampart admits his short-sightedness in underestimating Crosshair's former squad. Crosshair asks permission to hunt for them, and Rampart grants his request. After Hunter is captured on Daro, Crosshair arrives with 2 new members of the Elite Squad to take the batch's leader to Kamino. Rampart expected the entirety of the Bad Batch, but Crosshair informs them that they will be at Tipoca City soon. Crosshair takes Hunter away with most of the Elite Squad, but 2 remains to voice her concerns to Rampart that she doesn't trust Crosshair's plan. But Rampart is quick to reply that if he fails, then it won't be a concern given the Empire's plans with the city. Crosshair takes Hunter to the command center, where 3 reports the sensors being triggered, but the anomaly went below scanner range. Crosshair knows that this is the other members of Clone Force 99. Hunter tries to talk sense into Crosshair about the inhibitor chip, but is cut off as alarms ring out. This is Crosshair's cue to go to the training room for the final confrontation. The batch falls for the trap, with all members of the elite squad having their weapons trained on the rogue clones. Crosshair sends 2 to find Omega, and after a moment 3 lets Crosshair know that they are running out of time. It's kinda strange how 3 knows they're running out of time, but Crosshair is unaware of what Rampart's plan was, despite being so high up on the totem pole. Unless the elite squad didn't know either, just that they were on a time limit. 2 finds Omega and lets Crosshair know, to which 9904 orders her to be taken to a shuttle off-world. Omega distracts 2 long enough for AZ to activate one of the droid dispensers, knocking 2 unconscious. The duo continue with activating the training droids as Crosshair gives Hunter the chance to be a squad again under the Empire. Tech notices a reflective object on one of the panels, and Hunter asks why they should trust Crosshair, with CT-9904 ordering the elite squad to put down their weapons, but they disobey the order, preparing to fire. Crosshair then takes the shot that he had prepared for, bouncing off all the mirrors he had placed, killing his elite squad. Crosshair uses this as the reason so the batch can be better than these inferior soldiers and have a purpose again. The droid's Omega activated rays and a firefight ensues. 2 regains her consciousness eventually and returns to the training room, seeing her dead teammates, then is forced to flee by one of the training droids. Not knowing the exact story, she just informs Rampart that Crosshair failed, to which Rampart orders her to evacuate, allowing the clones to die together. 2 makes her way to the final shuttle off of Tipoca City, returning to Rampart's Venator. And that sort of ends the origin story of the elite squad. Much to my surprise, we would see what I assume is more elite squad soldiers inside the under-construction Fortress Inquisitorius in Tales of the Empire. After Barriss Offee is brought to Nur, she is escorted to the throne room of the base, which is heavily guarded by soldiers clad in black armor. None of them speak, so they could technically be clones, but the black armor and the green visors, I'm positive these are more elite squad soldiers, having grown in size since the events of the Bad Batch, or whenever this episode of Tales of the Empire takes place. It seems like Barriss is taken to Nur shortly after Order 66, so that wouldn't really add up with how many elite squad troopers there are at this time. It's several months until 2 more are added to Crosshair's squad. So either this is a timeline oversight, or the time frame of which Barriss remains on Coruscant and is taken to Nur is a lot longer than we think. Either way, it's really cool to think of these soldiers being the first iterations of Death Troopers or Purge Troopers. It's interesting because the first time I saw Crosshair's Imperial armor, I instantly thought of Death Troopers, be it the lower half of the helmet or the green visor, same as the elite squad troopers. So to imagine them as Gen 1 Death Troopers just makes sense. But to see them being the specialized guard of Fortress Inquisitorius, a job we see Purge Troopers in, it's a strange fit. But maybe the Proto-Death Troopers served multiple roles before the expansion to Purge Troopers as well as Death Troopers. Either way, very cool to see more of these soldiers in this early phase of the Imperial reign. One lingering question remains. Where exactly ES-02 went? We never saw her again after fleeing Kamino, and I feel like she could have been a great antagonist, especially one to pair against Crosshair. Maybe once Crosshair returned to Coruscant after the finale of Season 1, Crosshair sees ES-02 and believes that she knows he killed the other members of the squad, so he tries to kill her first before she exposes him for being a traitor. Either way, I wish there was more from her. I imagine she was promoted to commander after Crosshair was stranded, so she probably led the new initiative of ES troopers, or maybe she became the first Death Trooper. Fun ideas to consider. And with that, our time with the Elite Squad comes to an end for now. I hope there's more stories with them in the near future, and if there is anything really relevant, I'll be sure to make a follow-up video to this one. Thank you for watching. What did you think of the Elite Squad Troopers? Let me know in the comments. And of course, if you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, subscribe, share, tap the bell, all the fixes. Take care, stay awesome, and may the Force be with you.